spring storm is bringing snow to the mountains and a little rain to the Denver metro area.
Denver ditched Flock's AI surveillance cameras and then approved a replacement. But it came down to the wire.
To be honest with you, I need like one more minute to think about this.
A facility in Aurora designed to help people experiencing homelessness is plagued with problems. The operator acknowledges it opened too soon.
We weren't ready, the building wasn't ready.
But first, a teacher strike in Sheridan schools is set to start tomorrow.
This is really just about making sure that every voice in Sheridan is heard.
As educators head to the picket line, the district is canceling classes.
Sheridan schools in Arapahoe County will close starting tomorrow as teachers go on strike. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Jennifer Meckles. The district says all 5 schools will be shut down for the remainder of the week because they just won't have enough staff to operate. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause joins us live from Sheridan High School tonight, where teachers will be out there picketing tomorrow. Rachel.
Yeah, Jenny and Kim, negotiations between the school district and the union over expanding union membership and reinstating a long-expired teacher contract have stalled. And now the union is taking action, but they'll be picketing in front of empty schools over the next few days. The sky is gray, but the mood is sunny Tuesday as Sheridan educators left the classroom ready for the picket line.
We just walked out of our classes. We're on strike.
Kate Beaster, Sheridan Education Association president and high school teacher, says they've been working without a contract for months with little response from the district.
We have had meetings. We have talked over email. We've seen each other in the hallways. But we have actually not received any sort of substantive response, rebuttal, or like any sort of response, frankly, to our demands that are proposed at the table. What do we want? When do we want it?
Teachers and parents are frustrated.
I think it's the right decision. It was a very difficult decision. We've been struggling with this for, I think, 8 months now, and we've tried to avoid it.
Esther Rocha Garcia and Kristen Rogers de Reyes both have kids in the district and teach at Sheridan High. They know a strike is stressful, so the union has volunteers helping cover childcare at the rec center while school is out.
The union has a plan in order to take care of that. Also, we didn't have to necessarily have the need for childcare. Had tonight we just, or any other time, wrap this up.
After collecting their signs, teachers moved to the district ready to be heard at the board meeting, only to be shut out by the district.
We can't communicate with closed doors.
Within minutes, Sheridan police rolled up. According to a city spokesperson, it was the superintendent who called police. Eventually, cameras and teachers were allowed in, at least for a few minutes, before clearing the building out for executive session. Teachers say they'll be back out at now closed schools Wednesday.
It is about getting the goal of being back in the classroom with the children, with better schools, better classrooms, because we know our teachers' working conditions are our students' learning conditions, and we want to have the safest and most stable conditions we possibly can for them.
Sheridan superintendent declined an interview today ahead of the strike, instead sending over a statement that says, quote, "Our focus right now is on preparing for tomorrow and on serving our students and families as best we can. I also reached out to the school district about police showing up to a school board meeting. I have not yet heard back on that. Teachers here will be back on the picket line at 7 a.m. at Sheridan High School tomorrow morning." Reporting live in Englewood, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Rachel, thank you. Now let's go live to Vail, where you can see snowflakes falling on that part of Colorado. As we speak, the first of 2 spring storms is bringing moderate snow to the high country and some scattered showers to the scattered showers. That's a tough one. You know what I'm saying. It's going to rain here in the metro. I'm so excited. I can't get it out.
I love
something.
it.
That's what it is, Kathy. We'll take anything coming from the skies.
I know nobody's singing the Christmas song, "The Weather Outside is Frightful." Everybody's singing, "Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow." And that's what we're seeing on all of our mountain cameras tonight. And this is just the beginning of a storm that could bring up to a foot of snow as we say goodbye to March, our snowiest month on average. And we did okay after a really dry fall and winter. For the month of March, 10.5 inches of snowfall at DIA, and there's the average, so not too shabby. The year-to-date number, not so great considering where we really want to be, but we have some time to catch up as April's our second snowiest month, and that's about 8.8 inches we see on average in the next month. So a cool night out there with a few light rain showers. Temperatures are 20 to 25 degrees colder than 24 hours ago, and that wind out of the east and southeast bringing in some moisture, and that moisture moisture will mean scattered showers tomorrow. A good chance of rain tomorrow afternoon in Denver. So if you missed it today, good chance you'll see the showers tomorrow. Look at the radar. Rain and snow across the western slope. Snow from Grand Lake to Winter Park back to Vail with a few light showers moving over Denver. We're hopeful we're going to see a heavier round of showers tomorrow. And the forecast modeling is coming into play with that. I think by 3, 4 o'clock, good chance of some good rain here in Denver. So we'll take that. The big stories in the mountains with the winter weather advisory out through 9 o'clock tomorrow for up to a foot of snow. Much more on this forecast, the timing and the impact coming up.
Thank you, Kathy. There will soon be new AI license plate reading cameras all around Denver.
After a year of controversy tonight, the City Council narrowly signed off on a replacement for Flock. And they're going with cameras made by Axon. Our Spencer Soisher has been following this for months. Spencer, the new contract was approved by a single vote.
Yeah. Flock, who fell out of favor with the city, told me this afternoon that it was finishing taking down its 100 plus cameras that were here in the city of Denver. That contract expired today, and now after a really tight vote, it clears the way for about half as many Axon cameras to be put up. Just hours after Flock took back its controversial license plate reading cameras, Denver's City Council was torn on the company that would replace them.
I know that I'm the deciding vote, which again does not feel great.
That decision came at the last possible second.
To be honest with you, I need like one more minute to think about this.
City Council President Amanda Sandoval was the deciding vote after a 6-6 split on the contract with Axon.
Trans community says nay.
Aye.
Sandoval's deciding yes vote on the one-year contract came despite opposition from the ACLU, immigrants, trans, and abortion rights groups who fear the cameras could be used by the federal government or law enforcement outside Colorado to track down people in those communities.
This company will comply with subpoenas, and it has to. It doesn't have a choice about that. If we create data, we are at real risk of creating data that does get subpoenaed.
Proponents say until that happens, the technology is too helpful for Denver police.
Or before that, if we find out that ICE is accessing these cameras, or we do start to see subpoenas that we haven't seen, we can address those things between now and then.
The holdup Tuesday was also not on the Axon contract itself. The 6 no votes came in from council members who wanted to see a city ordinance regulating the cameras first before signing with a new vendor.
There is no way we can trust this mayor, the police department, or this council if we don't craft a law that enforces people's constitutional rights.
Rushed or not, the new Axon camera system is coming, despite a vote that could not have possibly been closer.
I mean, I've made lots of hard decisions, and I can't remember making a harder one.
Mayor Mike Johnston had caught a lot of flack for how he handled the Flock debacle, but he celebrated the approval tonight of this contract and said in a statement that this is common sense technology with data protections in place that'll keep the feds from getting access to the camera system. Live in Denver, Spencer Soisher, 9 News.
The White House says President Trump will deliver a primetime address tomorrow to update Americans on the Iran war. 13 service members have been killed and nearly 350 others injured since the U.S.-Israeli strikes began on February 28th. Here in the U.S., people are feeling the financial burden of the conflict. The average price of a gallon of gas exceeded $4 today, hitting its highest level since 2022. As Iran collapsed down on the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump's remarks are scheduled at 7 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow.
A U.S. Supreme Court ruling could reshape a controversial practice in Colorado. In an 8-1 decision today, the justices ruled against the state's ban on conversion therapy for minors. In 2019, Colorado banned licensed therapists from practicing conversion therapy. The law was designed to stop efforts to change a young person's sexual orientation or gender identity. Kaylee Childs, a counselor you see there in Colorado Springs, challenged this law, arguing it violated her First Amendment rights. The U.S. Supreme Court agreed and today sent that case back to lower courts for further review.
I view my work as an outpouring of my faith. I want what's best for my clients, and they often seek me out because we have a shared faith It's crucial that families have counseling options, including options that allow kids to genuinely talk about experiencing discomfort with their bodies without the state dictating an outcome.
The decision does not immediately reinstate conversion therapy in Colorado, but it raises new legal questions about whether the state can regulate the conversations between therapists and clients. Advocates worry that this ruling could have serious consequences, noting that major medical organizations consider conversion therapy harmful and ineffective for LGBTQ+ youth.
And you're being told that you're not right. You shouldn't be this way. You can change it to make everybody else around you more comfortable. And that kind of lesson does serious damage to people.
Democratic Governor Jared Polis says his office is now working to figure out the impact on state law and evaluating next steps.
New tonight, a man is accused of shooting a BB gun at moving cars in Fort Collins. Officers just announced the arrest of 55-year-old Jamal Lorius following a months-long investigation. We first told you about this back in November. Fort Collins police say they've received a total of 12 reports of cars being shot at along South Shield Street, and that's caused more than $15,000 worth of damage. Officers served a search warrant last week, seizing guns and ammo over concerns that situation could escalate. Lorius now faces charges of criminal mischief and reckless endangerment. He's being held in the Larimer County Jail on a $50,000 cash-only bond. Police believe there are more incidents that maybe went unreported. If you know anything, you're asked to contact Fort Collins Police.
A man is now in intensive care after he was tased by law enforcement at St. Vrain State Park. Tonight, his mother has a lot of questions. It all happened Sunday afternoon, according to CPW and Weld County officials. This man was suspected of driving under the influence and resisted arrest. Officers tased him twice before he fell and hit his head. We spoke with the man's mother outside of University of Colorado Hospital, where her son is now unconscious and on a ventilator. He has not been charged with the crime, and a check of records shows he's never been arrested at all in Colorado. We are not identifying him, and his mother asks that we not reveal her identity. She tells us her son is an Army veteran with mental health issues.
I want to know if the park ranger who approached my son has had any training in how to recognize when a person has mental health issues. I want to know if the officer's been trained in how to de-escalate a conflict.
An officer with CPW initially tried to take the man into custody. He was the first to use a taser. Then a Dacono police officer responded to that officer's call for backup and also used a taser. The situation's now being investigated by a multi-agency team in Weld County.
The operator of a campus in Aurora that's designed to help people experiencing homelessness says the shelter wasn't ready to open when it did. The Aurora Regional Navigation Campus is at the former Crown Plaza Hotel on East 40th. It started welcoming people in November. The shelter accepts anyone but encourages people to work with case managers, get job training, and save for permanent housing. The building is currently dealing with significant problems like mold and broken plumbing. Staff is also struggling to help certain people, like the elderly, who require more specialized care. City leaders discussed all of that in a committee meeting today.
I think everyone was acting with the best interests of thinking that everything was going to be working, and then it just wasn't. And so it was very clear. Some things were known that were going to be problematic, but I don't think anyone could have predicted the series of issues that we had. So in the rearview mirror, yeah, opened up way too early.
Part of the push to open when it did was because city leaders wanted the space when the weather turned colder. City leaders say they'll keep a close eye on the shelter and the operations moving forward.